During the hostilities in Gaza in 2014, your government decided to review licences for arms exports to Israel, and you committed not to grant any further licences until hostilities were ceased. I think there were 12 specific licences that you were concerned about at the time. Why has there been no review, cessation, pause, despite the fact there should be an automatic trigger that exists within the department to immediately suspend when there's a significant change on the ground?
Well, the way this works is that, as I'm sure you know, that the grant of licenses is done by the Department of Trade on the advice of the Foreign Office, and the Foreign Office has to look at compliance with international humanitarian law based on an assessment of the commitment that Israel has, the capability that they have, can they actually deliver on this capability, and the compliance. And that assessment is carried out on a sort of rolling basis. And so it is sort of permanently reviewed. And where the circumstances to change and us to reach a different view, we'd advise the Department of Trade accordingly.
The immediate handbrake that, for example, after the terrorist attack in Kosovo, there was an immediate handbrake put in place in terms of sales of arms to Serbia. There was no immediate handbrake, as I am aware of, on this situation, despite there having been an enormous terrorist attack and then a response. And there hasn't been a specific review of licenses.
The circumstances are different because of October the 7th being such a hostile attack on Israel, and the government's position that Israel has a right to defend itself and a right to try and stop Hamas from launching future terrorist attacks, that there wouldn't be odd to have an automatic handbrake. What you have to do is assess on an ongoing basis, which is what we're doing.
Israel has a full right to defend itself in international humanitarian law, but the British government has a duty to ensure that its export licenses are for arms exports as accurate as they can be. So you are not aware of any review within the system formally. Rolling basis, the point of a rolling basis that you have the emergency handbrake for when it's needed.
It's as you described. I mean,
but you put one in place, which is why I'm surprised that there hasn't been one in 2014.
Yes, but
the casualties are so much higher this time.
Well, I think what I've described is what happens, which is it's a decision for the Department of Trade based on advice from the Foreign Office, and that process is properly gone through.
Okay. I just find it strange that when there were much lower levels of hostilities and activity, you put in place one as Prime Minister, and this time round, despite the circumstances being so much more serious, there hasn't been a review.
I think I've answered the question.